Diallo heads to United, Aguero and PSG switch, Leeds and Liverpool to do battle, a transfer roundup, and today's Friday Feels all coming up in the next few minutes as I am your host Matt Froelich, you are the OneFootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United have signed one of the most exciting young attacking prospects in football in 18-year-old Amad Diallo. Now, at 19 million, that's quite a risk for a player who has yet to play a first-team game, but still, you're kind of going to trust the Manchester United scouting system if they're willing to put this much money into someone so young. He's joined from Atalanta after all the paperwork was completed, and in these post-Brexit rules, well, it was a bit touch and go whether or not he'd actually get the work permit. He got it, he's moving to Manchester United, and like the manager said, there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful over the new signing. The thing is, at the moment, he's still going to be quite a young raw talent. He is a young raw talent. It's not like United are going to see someone who's coming straight into the first team, but if you put him alongside the signing of other youngster Facundo Pellistri, and of course the youngsters they've got in the team at the moment, the likes of Mason Greenwood, and of course Rashford and Martial are still pretty young as well, this certainly bodes well for Manchester United's attacking future. Despite all this though, I've seen loads of people online and on Twitter saying this is all good and well and United have signed a good attacking prospect, this, that and the other, but they still need to sort out the defence. It seems like Manchester United may be neglecting the defensive part of the game, and it could be their undoing as they definitely push for the title. I'd say at the moment they are definitely in the title race. Next up though, from Manchester United to Manchester City and the future of their star striker, their legend Sergio Aguero. With just 5 Premier League appearances this season and a whole host of injuries, it's clear that the 32-year-old is on a little bit of a decline. No one wants to admit it, but it's true, it's happening. He's been a brilliant servant to the club, so why not move to PSG? That is the latest report in today's papers saying that the French champions could be looking to bring in Aguero. Now, this one kind of makes sense. I mean, like we said before, the Liga may be a little bit of a slower pace to the Premier League, less physical demands. Aguero is still a great player. We've seen so many players like Cavani and Ibrahimovic do it in Liga well into their old age, especially at PSG, so why wouldn't it work out for Aguero? The other side of this though is I can't help but feel that since Pochettino joined the club, everyone in the media is just sort of linking Argentinian players to PSG. Like Pochettino is just going to be like, anyone who's Argentinian, I'll take him, bring him in. Aguero, yep. Rodrigo de Paul, who we'll hear on from later in this Daily News. Paulo Dybala, whoever else, bring back Lavezzi. It just seems like this one may be a rumour at the moment, and I'm not quite sure whether or not PSG will go ahead and do that. I mean, Aguero is on a free in the summer. They probably could get him for cheap now, but really are they going to do it with the likes of Kylian Mbappe ahead of him? I'm not entirely sure. Of course, there's also Mario Icardi as well, and a whole load of other players at PSG, and you can find out how I think they're going to line up mainly under Mauricio Pochettino by clicking here, because that is yesterday's video. So, moving on and to, like I said, Rodrigo de Paul, the Udinese midfielder from Argentina, who is causing a bit of a stir because he is one hot prospect indeed. With over 150 games for Udinese, it's now clear that Leeds and Liverpool are both interested in his signature. The things he can do on the ball, my word. He would fit in so well to both teams, just in slightly different roles. At Liverpool, you can kind of see him being a replacement for one of the attacking three because the likes of Divock Origi and Xherdan Shaqiri are surely to leave the club within the next 6 months. And at Leeds, he'd fit into Marcelo Bielsa's system, but I'm not entirely sure it would work out kind of in the way that it would at Liverpool. Obviously, Leeds aren't exactly the same team. He'd have to fit in very specifically to this team, and he'd have to hit the ground running. A few players have done that at Leeds, a few players haven't. Despite this though, he'd probably get more first team football at Leeds, so the 40 million may be a worthy investment. Now, of course, we've always said that that kind of money is quite difficult to stump up during the COVID pandemic, but if any team can do it, it's a team from the Premier League and all the riches that they've got. It may sound a little bit biased towards the Premier League, but that's the truth behind it. They're the ones with the most money, and they're the ones that can pay for the players. Next up then, the quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news, where Steve Bruce is looking to go to former club Manchester United to bring in 3 loan players to Newcastle this January. They include Brandon Williams, Jesse Lingard and Phil Jones. Moussa Dembele at Lyon is apparently attracting hot interest from Atletico Madrid. Hertha Berlin have sold Omar Rekik to Arsenal for around 500k. And lastly but not least, Brian Reynolds, the FC Dallas defender, is moving to Juventus, but could spend the rest of the season on loan at Benevento. Finally then, we come to this week's Friday Feels. This is where you guys leave your footballing predictions in the comment section down below, and we read out some of the correct ones on Monday. A massive weekend of football, of course, including the FA Cup third round. But first off, tonight, big game in the Bundesliga, Gladbach against Bayern Munich. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Bayern. Next up, and there's third versus second in Serie A this weekend as Roma host Inter Milan, and it hasn't gone so well for Inter recently, and I think it's going to get even worse. A 2-1 victory to Roma is in my books. And lastly but not least, the FA Cup third round in England always brings with it a whole load of shocks, and this weekend I think the giant killing is going to go to National League side Boreham Wood in the 5th tier, facing off against Championship side Millwall. If they can beat them at home, it'll be the first time they've gotten to the 4th round, after this being the first time ever they've gotten to the 3rd round. That's all from me for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.